Welcome into a special edition of Rebound Off the Net inside the Washington Wolfpack as we preview the Wolfpack's 2024 season. I'm your host, Joshua Cox. The Washington Wolfpack will be a startup franchise in the AFL and will play in Everett, Washington. They'll reside in the West Division, which includes the Billings Outlaws, Oregon Black Bears, and Rapid City Marshals. Here to help us preview the Wolfpack is head coach J.R. Wells. Coach Wells, welcome back on, man.
Let's go, Jay. Fire me up, man. I appreciate you having me on. Let's go.
Yeah. Coach, last time we talked to you, your team didn't even have a nickname yet. Give us some general updates about the franchise and where you all are at right now.
Man, we're grinding. You know what I'm saying? Grinding. Man, it is something else when you're building from the ground up, right? Not something that's already established. And I really am excited about that, because it's really molding it the way you want it kind of deal. And we talked about the earlier aspect of the Washington Wolfpack, having some bittersweet moments per se from other organizations. But let me tell you, the community is 100% behind us, and this Wolfpack is looking dangerous.
Absolutely. Being a new franchise, what have been some of the challenges of starting up the franchise?
Yeah, absolutely. That starts with getting a field, right? Something to play on, solidifying an arena, right? Again, it wasn't the easiest ticket per se coming inside and saying, hey, we have another arena team. They're like, get real. We've had this plenty of time. But, again, we have really good people in office doing the right things. And we're leading by example, right? Always wanting to give before we look to receive anything. So when it comes to struggle, it really just comes down to repairing those bridges that were burnt. That was really the struggle, is being consistent and persistent in our everyday message, to know that we're hashtag one community. We believe in building the culture and building this community, and we're not going to stop.
Yeah, absolutely. I saw you recently went to the Nike Coaches Clinic in Las Vegas. Tell us a little bit about that experience and what you learned and took away from that.
Just gives me chills. Thank you for bringing that up. Yeah, it was absolutely amazing. Some amazing coaches, some obviously tons of value. Shout out to them, right? There it is right there. And the Nike Coach of the Year Clinic. I'm talking about, I took notes on notes on notes on notes. I got a free hat by simply sitting in the front. It's crazy. The standard's the standard for me, right? You go to something like this Nike Coach of the Year clinic, that's business. So what I considered doing was just having nothing but my Wolfpack stuff on, all my merch, my sweaters and shirts and things like that. And it was like the day before I switched the tone, and I was like, this is business, right? I'm going with a button up every single time. There was not one coach in there with a button up aside from me, right? And nothing against them. It's just that's the standard, right? So when we tie into the Coach of the Year clinic and some of these coaches, the value that they dropped from, some of the top high school coaches to even really great D1 coaches. I was actually blessed to be in a room with the lineman coach from the Detroit Lions, the D line coach from LSU. I was listening to UNLV's head coach. They had Tennessee's coach there. I mean, there was just some amazing coaches, and just again thankful for it. And all the coaches that are out there watching this, make sure you go there. Right, go to one of those clinics, because you have to build who you are as a person. If you feel like you know everything, get out of the business, right? We don't know everything. And then again, it's a great way to support that movement, right? Whatever the cost is, pay that, and then go in there with the right mindset of knowing the assignment and being 100% present.
Yeah, always got to continue learning.
Absolutely.
Coach, if you would, introduce us to your coaching staff and tell us a little bit about those guys.
Definitely. Well, we'll start off with your coach right here, J.R. Wells. I'm the head coach, offensive coordinator. I'm looking to fire you guys up, believe you me. Then we also have my DB coach, also my defensive coordinator, Cole Stevens. This guy, his IQ for football is out of this world. And then we have my linebacker, fullback coach, which is Brian Burke. He was inducted into the Hall of Fame. Just an absolutely amazing dude. And honestly, it stops there. I got some more interviews for some more coaches. As transparent as it is, I had a couple of guys that were on staff, and for me as a coach, building this culture, the standard's the standard, and that's a non-negotiable. If we have people with excuses or feeling the energy that you're not here for the reason of what we're here for, which is number one, giving a stage to these boys to potentially go to the next level. And then two, really working on what Lee Hutton and Travail are doing, creating longevity for the AFL. The guys that I had, nothing against them. They're amazing people. Obviously, that's why I brought them on. But I always believe that people come into your life for a reason, a season, and a lifetime. And I learned some things from that. And what I really want to tie into to kind of solidify this on the coaching move is I had an interview with Darren Arbet, and he gave me a really, really powerful secret, which is be mindful of who your coaching staff is. Be mindful who they are. And one thing about me, man, is I'll interview everything from conversations to posting, to agreements. I mean, everything. Got to hold ourselves to a higher standard. So that's where we're at.
Yeah, Darren Arbet, one of the best that's ever coached this game. So,
Amen.
even
That
better.
dude is phenomenal, bro. He is phenomenal. He is a phenomenal person. That's what I like, is phenomenal people.
Yeah. Take us into what a game a week will look like and how you'll prepare for a game with your coaching staff.
Well, right now we're just meeting weekly with the staff. But game week, man, God, got my palms sweating me. I'm fired up, man. We go out to Salem, Oregon, to work with the Black Bears. I'm really excited about that, right? The opportunity that Coach Jones and I have to put on a great show. I definitely give him a hard time and letting him know I'm coming to bust your damn head, bro. Believe that. Believe that. The Wolfpack is coming. But it's all in fun, right? You got to have that competitive nature. But we're definitely looking for 2 W's because we have a preseason game against them on the 20th of April. And then we follow right back that next week on the 27th. But to answer your question, man, it's just, diving in. This is the first year in for everybody, right? Some of these coaches that are coming from the NAL or, the other leagues that aren't arena football, Ironman, the game has changed for them, and the same for us. So at the same time, in the between time, we're just going to go in the first week focused in on the first team, which for us is the Black Bears. We're going to go and do our business, handle our thing, and come back, get to the drawing board, watch film, and keep grinding.
Yeah. 2 of the most energetic coaches in the league. It'll be fun to watch. So,
Absolutely. Let's go.
Really like Coach Jones.
Me too,
Give us
for
your,
sure.
give us your thoughts kind of on the makeup of the league and how you feel the league is doing as it goes into year 1.
I am so pumped. I am so pumped. And let me tell you why I'm pumped. Because, people fail to realize this is a business. It's not just football. You're not just putting guys into pads and rolling out some turf and playing a game. Like, there is a whole operation to this. And when you sit down in the very beginning and you listen to what Lee Hutton has to say, like when you listen to understand, not listen to be understood. There's a lot of people are listening to be understood. Oh, look at the timeline and oh this and oh. Honestly, when I first came in, it was more off of faith in what they were saying. I seen the timeline. I'm going off of faith. And every day that we get closer, those timelines, sometimes they went past them, sometimes it was before it, but they always happened, right? And the only thing that we can do as people is give them an opportunity to solidify their word. Because that's all we have is our word. And so when I hear what Lee Hutton's vision is, it just it gives me chills. It's so empowering because it's bigger than football. We're talking about worldwide, different countries, and just having more people involved. So as an insider, listening to the outsiders and their shade from different leagues and just random people, about this, that. I'm just grateful it's Lee Hutton and Travell that are doing this. I'm just so thankful God put me in this situation to be around amazing people like them and the type of coaches that are on these teams. Like there are some great coaches out here that are really about more than just football. It's inspiring these guys, these grown men to be better fathers, husbands, uncles, whatever it is, just better people in this world, and that's what we need.
Yeah, absolutely. Let's take a look at your division. You got the Billings Outlaws, Oregon Black Bears, and Rapid City Marshals in your division. How do you feel about your division? Where do the Wolfpack fit in the division? And kind of give your thoughts on the division.
Come on, man. I wouldn't be a head coach if I didn't say we look to be at the top of the division. I'm grateful for this division. Number one, us and Coach Jones, the Black Bears, two teams that are really looking to solidify their mark in the AFL. And I can assure you the Black Bears are going to be nice. They have a solid team out there. And the reason they have a solid team is because, number one, their ownership is solid and their head coach is solid. And the staff that he has around him is solid. And then again, tying back to the Billings Outlaws, I mean, Billings is known for arena football. So when you go into that arena, them fans are out of this world. I will never forget being in Billings, Montana. They rock that place. But at the top of the head, Coach Walker, he's such a great dude. And, he's been with Darren Arbette. He's been on championships teams. He's had the number one defense. Like, he is a solid dude. He knows this game, and his boys are going to be ready. Man, nothing in arena is going to be easy. Nothing at all. Nothing against Rapid City. I mean, I'm watching them roll guys out. They're going to be solid. We expect it. This is arena football. This is the top of pro football, right behind the NFL and now the UFL merged. Like, this is solid, and you expect to have solid athletes on the field, and that's what you're going to see. So when it comes to this division, we look to sit at the very top. I mean, now I'm not going to go out here and say what Walker said, we're going undefeated. Sir, I don't know how the hell that's just going to happen when you got to see us twice. But it's going to be a lot of fun. It's going to be a lot of fun.
Yeah, going to be very competitive.
We're coming. Tell them we're coming.
We'll get into specific players here in just a minute, but tell us a little about the process of putting the roster together and how you evaluate players.
Absolutely. And I'm glad you asked that because I think this is one of the questions that everybody needs to pay attention to. Highlight this. I'm not the coach that gives two damns about your highlight tape. At the NFL clinic or the Nike Coach of the Year clinic, there was one thing that they said that I resonated with so well is when you go into an interview, right? You sit down for a job, right? You sit down for an interview and you're going to rave about yourself. Your resume is going to rave about what they're looking for per that job. Now, that resume changes per each job that you're applying for because it's highlighting what you're good at in those specific situations. So I have tons of people sending me their highlight tape. Okay, number one, like I said, it's not just football and it's not just your highlight tape. So I'll look at your message, your delivery. Is it authentic or is it just something I'm copying and pasting and sending to all the teams out there? There's only 16. Okay? So first off, what does that look like? Secondly, okay, let's take a look at your tape. Okay, cool. Now let's highlight your name and go through your social media. Let's see what kind of person you are. So for me, when I'm evaluating my team, I don't just take the tape. I connect with you. Let's see what your conversation looks like. Let's see if this is very fitting for the both of us. I don't want to waste your time. You're damn sure not going to waste my time, right? People are leaving their families and their jobs. Like there's a whole bunch of things. I can tell you this though, for my roster, 98% of the guys that have been signed on my team have come from a tryout, a combine, or some kind of workout. That's what I'm looking for. I don't want you just to send me your tape and rave about you, and then you don't show me that when the shit hits the fan, when adversity is right here in our mouth, that you're cussing your coaches out, you're throwing your helmet, you're all pissed off because the ball's not being delivered to you enough, or all these extra things. I want to see that shit. That's what I want to see. Be transparent about that. I got to know what I'm getting into. Because when we go into these games, which are shootouts, how are you going to respond? Because then the team's going to respond. Then the coaches are going to respond. Then the community is going to respond. I need solid people. So when I brought in my team, that's what I was looking for, was solid people. And that's what we're going to put on a display. Solid.
Absolutely. You're obviously going to have to cut some players in camp. You'll have to get down to 24 total and then 21 on the active roster. What will make the difference between a guy that makes the team and the guy that gets cut?
Man, that's tough, man. It's tough because, again, I'm not just signing guys because they went to this or they done this and, X school and blah, blah, blah. Man, I don't give a damn about that. I care about you as a person. How do you work? What's your work ethic like? What's your daily habits? What do those look like? Because how you do anything is how you do everything. So when we talk about, I was talking with my management about this, looking at a roster, man, it's a business. But it's almost like my daughter, she graduates this year from high school. She's going into the Air Force. Like, it gets sad, because you build relationships with these guys. Um, it's tough, man. The way I work is, compete and may the best man win the job. That's all I can do, and that's all I can provide.
Absolutely. Let's start diving into your roster. We'll look at the quarterback position. JT Tasse, Rodney Raines, Casey Moore. Tell us a little about the quarterback position and kind of where that stands right now as you go into camp.
The way it stands is the same way these contracts stand. Just because you got a contract don't mean you made the team. You know what I'm saying? It's all about competition. May the best man win. You got to learn the offense. It's a faster game. Who can get the ball out of their hands, who's making the right reads. Again, you're playing against guys like Coach Walker, who will have a very sound defense. I mean, when he was with the San Jose SaberCats, they were the number one team, not just the championship team, but offense with Eric Meyer, and then their defense. And that was around, Coach Walker. So when you think about playing teams like that or seasonal, Orlando Predators or Philadelphia Souls, like the Albany, like these really solid organizations that have been around, that know the game, you got to be ready. And that's why I always, tied to stay ready, you ain't got to get ready. So when we look at this quarterback battle, man, I expect it to be a tough battle, and the boys are ready for it.
Absolutely. The AFL is a pass-heavy game. How do you plan to use the fullback position? Who might be a couple guys that get carries, and how do you plan to go about that?
I'm about to change this bad boy. I'm gonna leave you with that. It's keep an eye on the Wolfpack, man. Keep an eye on the Wolfpack.
Sounds good. Let's talk about the receiving core now. I know J.R. Nelson was one of your first signings, probably your headliner. He played briefly for the Chiefs. What is the wide receiver core looking like? Who's the big play guy going to be?
Holy shit, bro. Man, I got some studs, man. I got this what we call hidden talent. The diamonds in the rough, man. I mean, I'm watching a lot of these teams, and they're, man, again, taking nothing away from Arena, right? I mean, everybody looks dope. Obviously, I'm the head coach of my squad, and I selected these guys, so I expect them to be, top tier. But like serious business, like Daryl Thompson, like that is a seasoned vet that is about to light up the scoreboard. But then you also think that, some guys like Vincent Wilkerson, I mean, speed demon. You have someone like Wesley Gray, a track guy, speed demon. Like there's Deshaun Williams, went to the Seahawks. I mean, he's a big ass dude, speed demon, like the deceptive speed. Like the battles are going to be tough, man. We got a squad, man. We got some guys out here. So it's going to be a lot of fun. It's tough that I got to send some guys home, but that's the nature of the beast. May the best man win.
Absolutely. One of the challenges is the O line D line because guys got to play both ways.
Very nice.
What's that been like for you? How is that shaking out, and how's the recruiting process been like of having to play both ways?
That's a great question, man. I'm glad you asked that. And again, the standard's the standard. I was on the phone with a guy from Baylor, and he just finished up his pro day, got a C- grade, and he's looking to take his game to the next level per se. That's what he said. But what you say may not always be what you mean, kind of deal. And so I had to make sure that when I talk to guys, they understand the mindset of things, right? This is a business. This is an interview to go to the next level. So if you want to go to the next level, you look at the arena as the grandest way to do that. And here's why. We're talking O line, D line, playing both ways. Let's say, okay, with the NFL, there's four guys, there's one contract. You have a right guard, you have a left tackle, and then you have a DN and let's say a center, okay? But this one guy out of the four knows how to play left tackle, right tackle, center, guard, DN, D tackle, nose. That's like six positions for one person. So when you have that mindset of, like the kid from Baylor was like, oh, both ways, I don't know, coach. Hey, guess what? Listen, you got a bachelor's degree, a master's degree. I think it's time for you to get a job. You got a C- grade on your pro day. The NFL says you're not ready. Here's an opportunity for you to showcase that you are more than ready to play multiple positions where one contract, $1 million contract, could be provided for you if you could play multiple positions. Because now you are one person, but equivalent to four players. So with regards to us, man, my guys that I've selected are okay with that. So to answer your question, it's going to be a fun ride, man. Lots of fun.
Last position on defense, kind of defensive back. I guess we didn't touch on linebacker too, that which looks a lot different in the arena game. Talk to us about those two positions.
Well, with arena, it's an offensive game, right? So for the mindset of my defensive guys is, can you have short memory? There's going to be a bomb that's going to happen. It's inevitable. That's this game. It is offensive game. Can you get ready for the next play? How many times can you stop those big plays? Give up the 5, not the 25. That's what I learned when I was playing arena football. Give up the 5, not the 25. Um, Man, bro, I want to give you more, bro, but all I'm gonna say is just keep an eye on this Wolfpack, bro. Keep an eye on this Wolfpack, man. Man, man.
Absolutely. Last position, coach, special teams, kicker. What's your kicking situation look like?
I'm gonna tell y'all right now, straight up, we got the best kicker in the world, Craig. I'm telling you right now, he wears number 2. We're calling him Mr. Deuce. He is going to set records. This guy is about to change the game for arena football. The lights out, bro. This guy is phenomenal. Phenomenal. Oh my Jesus. Yeah, that's what I'm gonna give you. This dude is a beast. So get ready to call that Deuce all day long, man. Deuce.
I look forward to seeing that'll be fun. Let's see here. Who is one player that we don't know now that by the end of the year, AFL fans will know?
Shit, bro. I'm gonna say, man, I got a squad, bro. I mean, because you guys know Austin Joyner, J.R. Nelson, there's some big names on the defensive side, both sides of the ball. Um, I'm gonna go as far as saying Vincent Wilkerson is gonna be a stud, an absolute stud out there, bro. Um, I also got to go with Jake Oliphant. He, he's gonna be all over the place. Yeah, man. There's just I don't know. I just some of those names, and then be mindful of our QB situation.
Mhm.
Keep an eye on that. That shit's gonna be fun.
Absolutely. So we'll be airing this during camp. Tell us a little bit about what camp will look like. What's your plans for camp?
Yeah, stay ready. You ain't got to get ready. If you're coming into camp and you're gassed off day one, you might get sent home right off the rip. There's no questions asked. We have a very, very short window of time. I'm one of those follow the rules kind of guy. We got 3 practices is what we're allowed. That's what we're going to do. We're going to follow the rules. We're going to do the 3 practices and we're going to get to it. Repetition is the key to success. I'm about polishing up our program. When we step on the field, you're gonna be like, holy shit, that's a squad right there. From the very moment that we get off of our charter bus, off the plane, you'll know the Wolfpack is here and we're here for business and you're gonna feel us.
Absolutely.
So camp wise, let's go.
Last question for you, Coach. Is there something about your team or franchise that's not on paper you want fans to know, and do you have a message for the rest of the league?
For the league, you guys are all on notice. The Washington Wolfpack is making a statement this year, and I understand some of y'all are going to take offense to it, and I don't give a damn because this is what we're going to do out here. You're going to feel us, and you're going to hear us. Now, if you're in Washington State, get your season tickets, lock in. We are ready to go. My boys are ready. Stop playing with me.
Sounds great. You got me fired up, Coach.
Come
Coach,
on, baby.
we appreciate your time, man.
Absolutely.
This has been another edition of Rebound Off the Net. I'm your host, Joshua Cox, as we looked inside the Washington Wolfpack. We'll be back with you again before you know it. In the meantime, always remember, catch the rebound off the net.